All right, so these go up. We record these go up on the website for anybody who wants to watch them after the fact. But I just, again, thank everyone for joining, and kind of keep an eye out on the NAEOP website. Right on the homepage, just kind of a breakdown of the different topics we'll be covering in the coming months. In July, we kind of, every other month, we kind of have a tech focus with our tech talk. So in July, we're going to be really highlighting Canva and kind of how that tool can be utilized to help your TRIO programs and improve marketing and some of that stuff. But today, we are going to be focusing on one of our vendors. So I'm going to pass it off to our NAEOP president-elect, Jeff Garner here, who's going to intro our guest speaker.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for popping in today. I know everyone's probably really busy with graduations. Thanks for time out with Tech Talk and NAEOP. When we were conceiving of this, I really only thought of one company that, you know, we all widely respect, Nucleus Robotics. And I've got to say, I've just been thrilled every time I've picked up the phone. They're there. Michael's always ready to talk about new products coming down. And we thought June would be a great month. Well, we're considering, you know, spending down of our budgets. Maybe some of you are closing down budgets. Michael will share some great news from Nucleus about helping us, you know, if we don't have any decisions right now. I'll let Michael share all the good news, but really honored to have Michael Chason here with us today. And I'll leave it up to you, Michael, if you want to take questions while you're presenting, or if you want to do time after, it's totally up to you, but the floor is yours, Michael. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Jeff. Sorry, I was on mute. Thanks, everyone. Excited to chat with everyone here today. And Jeff, thank you so much for the kind introduction and the warm greeting. We love being a great vendor for TRIO programs. We work with about 500 TRIO programs across the country, including a ton of programs here in Oregon, which is, you know, why we're honored to present for you guys today. You know, there's not that many of us on the call today. I'd love if we could maybe just take a quick moment and go around and maybe just unmute yourself. Maybe I'll call on each of you and maybe just tell me, you know, introduce yourself with like your name and, you know, what program you're with, like which grant as well as which school, just so I can get an idea of, you know, which schools we have represented and which types of TRIO programs as well. So maybe Miss B, you're at the top left for me. So maybe you want to just start us off.
Oh, that's me. Well, I'm under Jeff's program, so I'm Talent Search TRIO, and he's my program manager. So I'm at, are you local in Oregon?
I'm in Los Angeles, but I've been to Oregon.
Well, I'm at 3 different alternative high schools in Portland.
Got it. Yeah.
Is that all to say?
Well, yeah, for sure. I got you. Thank you, Miss B. And is it Philip?
Yes. And I'm here from TRIO in Southwestern Oregon Community College, and I work at Reedsport Community Charter School.
Okay. And which grant are you?
I'm not sure.
Upward Bound, Talent Search.
Oh, Talent Search.
Talent Search. Got it. Okay. You're with is that Sherilyn?
Yes.
Got it.
This is her retirement month.
That's right. That's right. Congratulations to her. That's exciting. Yeah, we worked with Southwest Oregon, both on Talent Search and Upward Bound for the last couple of years. So thank you, Philip. Good to see you. Pam, you want to go next?
Yes. Hi, I'm Pam Navarre. I am the director of the McNair Scholars Program at Central Washington University in Ellensburg, Washington.
Okay, awesome. Good to meet you, Pam. And then Liliana.
Hi, Liliana here from Yakima Valley College Upward Bound program. I'm the assistant director. Just recently finished this, we're finishing off this grant, like you said, and hoping to start this new one. So excited to hear about all this. Awesome.
And you, which school? Was it Kappa? Or?
Yakima Valley College.
Got it.
In Yakima, Washington. So we're close to Pam up by Ellensburg. We're like about 45 minutes away from her. So.
Got it.
Hi, Liliana.
Perfect. Awesome. And then Montana.
Hi, I'm Montana. I'm a STEM advisor for Trio SSS at the University of Alaska Fairbanks.
Got it. Okay, perfect. And that's is that Katie's program?
It's Victoria Smith.
Okay, got it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking of Adam runs the Upward Bound program there, right?
Yep.
Got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I think there was another. Okay, and then there was someone who put in the chat. Jordan says he's not able to turn on his camera, but his name's Jordan. He works with Oregon Trio Association as a social media intern and coordinator. Thanks, Jordan. And then I guess Maria, last but not least.
Hi, everyone. My name's Maria. I'm the program coordinator for Yakima Valley College Upward Bound.
Perfect. Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, Maria. I think that's everyone. So just to briefly introduce myself, my name is Michael Chason. I am VP of Trio Partnerships here with Nucleus. I'm also one of the co-founders of Nucleus. Been in Trio for quite a while. To start off, I'll tell you just a little bit about Nucleus and who we are, 10 seconds, and then we'll jump into some of our course offerings. I know you guys today are, mostly interested in learning about STEM opportunities. We have a number of different classes. I know we've got McNair, we've got SSS, we've got UB, we've got Talent Search, so we've kind of got the whole gambit covered. We're just missing EOC and Veterans Upward Bound. But I'll talk to you a little about some of the different opportunities that are available, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions. I know, Jeff, you kind of had this in mind of, hey, it's already early June. A lot of our summer's already planned, most likely, unless you're Talent Search and maybe starting a little bit later, then maybe you haven't quite figured it out yet, but maybe looking for new opportunities for next year. One of the really cool things, which we'll talk about, is when you buy stuff with Nucleus, you get a year to use it. So there is some potential opportunity for those of you who are wrapping up either your budget cycle or your grant cycle to basically pre-buy for next year with this year's grant or budget money, depending on what you want to do if you don't get to it this summer. So just keep that in mind as we're kind of running through, and we could talk about that a little bit later. Also, I will say this, even though this is recorded, I know we're expecting some more people, but since it's a small group, I'd love this to be a little bit more conversational. So please stop me if you have any questions. You can just kind of unmute yourself or put in the chat. Nobody likes to just talk for 45 minutes straight. I don't think anyone wants to listen to someone talk for 45 minutes straight, unless I was the Dalai Lama or something like that. So, just try to be interactive. And if you have any things that pop up, let me know. So first off, Nucleus. We work with about 500 Trio programs across the country, as I mentioned. So I'm pretty sure in terms of curriculum, it makes us the #1 provider for Trio in the country. And, one of the reasons one of the things that I always get asked is, why Nucleus, right? What about Nucleus is so special that so many Trio programs decide to partner with us? And why does NAEOP partner us? Why is Oregon Trio? And why does COE? And I think one of the big reasons we are so popular with Trio is because we're fun and we're activity-based learning, right? That's something I think is unique about us. We do not believe that students learn by watching, they learn by doing. So as I kind of run through our robotics curriculum in particular, keep in mind that out of every hour of class, they only do about 10 minutes of lecture and about 45 minutes of hands-on activity-based learning. So every class is a different lab, a different experience, a different, immersive approach to learning, which just makes it a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. We do have a couple. I'm going to focus on robotics today. If we have time and you guys want me to run through a couple of our other options, we'll have that opportunity. I don't think we're going to take up a whole hour to run through stuff. But we have 3 class options that tend to be the most popular with Trio. Some are more popular with UB, some are more popular with Talent Search, so it kind of depends. The first is our robotics and coding class. This one is where each student's going to get their own robot to work with, and they're going to learn how to program this thing to light up and roll around and speak and do all sorts of really cool things and make this really fun and engaging. This one comes in an 8, a 16, or a 24-hour option. So depending on how much curriculum you're looking for, SSS, you're probably not going to do more than 8. Talent Search, you're probably going to do somewhere around 8 to 16. Upward Bound, if you're doing a 6-week residential, probably going to be doing the 24-hour program. So it kind of depends, different strokes for different folks. That's our first option. Our second option is our entrepreneurship class. This is spectacular. And we actually had a partnership with COE. I don't know if you guys get emails from COE, but you probably saw our name circulated a lot this spring. Nucleus, we gave away about $10,000 in TRIO scholarships this spring as basically a nationwide Shark Tank competition. It's called TRIO Pitch Day, similar to TRIO Day, but focused on entrepreneurship and starting businesses. We had about 100 TRIO students submit business ideas to do this competition. It was absolutely spectacular. And this is the goal of the class. We want to teach students and empower them to feel like they can go off and start their own business, right? Most wealth is generated in this country through business ownership, not by being an employee. So we want to empower our students to feel that. Obviously, still go to college, still get that experience, but obviously start their own business and build wealth that way. We cover things like, Matt had mentioned Canva earlier. That's one of the things we train the students how to learn. They learn how to build a website, learn how to use Canva to design a logo, learn how to do sales, marketing, search engine optimization, social media. They learn everything. I kind of almost think about it like a mini MBA. That one also is an 8, 16, or 24-hour option. And then last but not least, we just released, Jeff mentioned we always are coming out with new stuff. We just released some new financial literacy workshop series, which are basically there. I call it like a wealth building series. I think TRIO, we kind of approach financial literacy in, I'd say, not the most optimal way, where we kind of come at it from a negative approach. Students are obviously emotionally charged and wounded growing up without not necessarily easy access to money. And so they kind of come in with stars. And then all we do is we scare the living bejesus out of them about, hey, don't take out loans because they're going to be impossible to pay back, right? That's great. It's important to cover that, but it's no secret why they don't want to talk about money, because it's all negative. So we approach it really from what can money do to you to help you build a better life in the future. So we cover topics like stock market investing, real estate and home ownership, cryptocurrency, and then also like personal finance, things like opening a bank account and all that kind of stuff. So those are the 3 things that we cover. I know today we're going to focus on robotics and coding, so I'm going to walk you through a quick little demo of what we cover in the course. We'll have probably plenty of time to have questions and look at some other options if some of you are interested. I know for SSS, financial literacy is a huge thing. Same thing with McNair, and obviously for talent search and Upward Bound as well. So what I'm going to do is jump in. Before I get started, does anyone have any questions or anything that they're looking for in particular out of like their STEM options of why you joined this call today? All right, cool. Again, feel free to just unmute yourself if you come up with, oh, Philip, do you have something?
Yes, sorry. I'm interested in how we learn how to go from the first programming of the robots to the 8-hour program. Obviously, it's not all done in one day, most likely. Is it 4 or 8 sessions? And do you have them built so there's a workbook or?
Yeah, so I'll go through all of that and I'll kind of explain a little bit more detail. The way that our sessions work is, so when I say that there's 24 hours or 8 hours or 16, each of our classes are an hour session, okay? So an 8-hour class are 8 one-hour modules or lessons. Think about them like chapters in a book, essentially. So it'll be your choice, and I'll kind of explain why this is later, but it'll be your choice at what speed you want to go. Some programs will do a 4-hour day, and like, for instance, talent search. Typically we'll only do like a 1-week summer camp or something like that. So they'll maybe do 2 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, and that'll be the 8-hour camp, right? Other programs will say, hey, I want robotics to be my entire.
Uh-oh, you froze, Michael.
I'm sorry. How could I do that?
It looks like it's just coming from Michael's.
Yeah, just give him a minute. Probably cycle back on, hopefully.
I'm trying to reboot his system and power him up right now. Does anyone on the call have the robots that Michael's talking about?
We do.
Oh, cool.
We have 15.
Do you like them, Philip?
I haven't had a chance yet to work with them, so we're getting started slowly.
I tried to get them for one of my schools, and they wanted a different version. These kind of like Lego ones, and within a week they all got like, they were just useless. They they broke really quickly. So I guess that's one of the things that Michael's company does, is they're not indestructible, but because they're round and do so much more than the Lego ones, they last longer.
Right.
Hey,
Hey,
Michael's back.
I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea. My internet, I guess, just went out for a minute. So I apologize about that. I have the number on queue in case I drop out again. I'll just call back in and kind of conduct things through the phone for a second until it comes back. But hopefully that's the last of it. But anyways, what I was saying before was that each of our classes are an hour. So when I say there's 8 hours, and so, like I said, each program kind of gets to construct their own methodology of how quickly or how slowly they want to go through the curriculum. Some programs will even do multi-semester, where they're going to say, hey, Saturday Academy is like, for instance, Upward Bound. Fall and spring, we're going to do an hour every Saturday, and we're going to take 12 weeks to get through, the curriculum or whatever it may be. Okay, so Philip, we'll go through and kind of talk a little bit about what your options are there in a few moments. Okay. Thanks for that question, though. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about the robot itself, okay? Because these are really awesome, and I heard you guys as I pop back in. I know you guys were talking a little bit about this. So these are what's called the Sphero Bolts. This is what we use. These are about the size of a tennis ball or baseball. They can do a lot of amazing things. They can roll around. They can light up. They can speak. You can do obstacle courses, all sorts of fun things. You can even program it to do different animations and kind of bring it to life. So you can do emojis and all this kind of stuff. And then Jeff was kind of mentioning, the indestructibility of these, which is really awesome. So what's really nice about these is, I know you guys all, especially with Upward Bound, where you're rewriting your new, or you just got awarded your new grant. Talent Search got their new grant last year, SSS as well. So you guys are obviously conscious about budget at all times and making sure that you don't buy something that's going to break in 3 days, or you're going to lose it, or whatever it is. So what's really awesome about these is they're not just waterproof, they're shatterproof. So you're going to get probably somewhere between 4 to 6 years of usage out of this one robot. The only time it ever really dies is not when it gets just like broken, but battery life, like an iPhone or something. It just eventually the battery will just dissipate over time, and you'll get less and less battery or like usage before you need to recharge it. So what's really cool is, like I said, it's indestructible. Trust me, I can hit this thing as hard as I want and nothing's going to happen.
Ouch. Why did you hit me?
So actually something did happen. So what's really cool about these is, in addition to doing all sorts of different stuff, they also have a lot of cool sensors that you can program. So they have collision sensors. They've got all sorts of different stuff that really can help bring these robots to life and make them really immersive and really, really fun for the students. So before so what I want to do now is I want to share my screen and give you guys an idea of exactly what we cover in the course itself. I know Philip had asked a little bit about how do you graduate from 1 hour to the next, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about that right now. So out of through either by a show of hands, or a lot of you guys are just, have your camera off, so maybe via chat or something. How many of you have ever tried doing any kind of basic coding yourself? No one really? Okay, cool. So this is why we want to make sure we teach our students some that we don't know, right? Technology runs our world. We're all sitting in different states and different areas of the country, talking to each other through technology. So it's really important that students know and feel empowered that they can do stuff in STEM, because frankly, this is where most jobs are going at this point in time. So when I say the word coding, most of you probably think of something like this, right? This is usually something you see when you break something on a website and you go to the wrong place, and then you see something like this, and you're like, what the heck happened? This stuff kind of looks like hieroglyphics to most people, right? And we know with students, the way that we're going to get them into a topic is either A, it needs to be fun, or B, it needs to be approachable. If it's too hard or not fun, they're just not going to really pay much attention to it and they're going to quit pretty quickly. So what we do is rather than focusing on this kind of code, we're going to focus, at least at the beginning of our course, on this type of code in front of you. This is what's called block coding or Scratch. Have any of you guys seen this before? Pam, maybe a little bit. No? Okay, Jeff's seen it before. Okay, great. Block coding is, the way I think about coding is kind of like learning a language, right? So let's say we wanted to learn Spanish or French or German or Italian. It didn't really matter. Why do we learn a new language as humans? Well, usually we learn a language not because we care about the grammar and the rules of the language, but because we want to have fun, AKA have a conversation with someone else who speaks that language, right? That's the fun part. I want to walk into a cafe in Italy and order, a cappuccino in Italian, right? That would be fun. I don't really care about conjugation of verbs. That's not so fun, right? So block coding is kind of like you already have the grammar and the vocab built, or grammar and the rules built into the blocks. You just have to learn and drag and drop the vocab into a sentence that makes sense that the computer can understand. So you're basically, it's kind of like drag and drop language. Does that kind of make sense what that is? So it's almost like learning how to ride a bike, but with training wheels, right? You're less likely to fall off and hurt yourself and a lot more likely to be able to pedal around and have fun very quickly. So what's cool about this and learning coding this way is literally within the first hour of class, they're already going to start learning how to code using these blocks. Okay, so Philip, you asked about the graduation at different levels. That's how, is because, it's like bumpers on a bowling alley. I can actually hit the pins down if I can just keep it within the guards. The hard part is keeping it there, and then eventually you get good enough that you take off the bumpers and then you just start throwing it down the middle. So the first 8 hours of class, we're going to do stuff like, getting the robot to roll around, to light up, to speak, do different obstacle courses and games, do different simulators, things like that. So this is the first 8 hours of class, is going to be what we call the intro to block coding section. Now, the second 8 hours of class is what we call the advanced block coding section, or what I like to call the video game building section. Just because block coding is easy to learn and pick up at first, doesn't mean you can't get complex with it and have a lot of fun with it. So the second 8 hours is what we call the video game building section, where the students are basically going to build different games and simulators. So for instance, there's like a vampire game they have to play where they have to build the robot to like roll around and play ominous music when the lights are off. And as soon as they turn the lights on, they use the light sensor and it's supposed to like scream and run away, and kind of like you're attacking Dracula with light. We also have like a home run derby game where the students build their own baseball simulator and then they have to play a game. And what's really cool about our program is they don't just learn how to build games, they're going to learn how to play the games, right? That's the fun part. And what's really cool is included with our class, we're going to provide Amazon gift cards. So as the students are winning different games in competition, they're going to win different prizes. So it's a great way to keep them engaged and participating. Now, out of curiosity, how many of you guys here are gamblers or like Vegas? Any of you guys frequent Vegas? Jeff's a bit of a Vegas person. Matt's a Vegas person. All right, cool. I'm a big Vegas person. I'm actually going to Vegas tomorrow. And I love Vegas for two reasons. One, because it's Vegas, and two, because I'm a big math and science nerd. So I just love probabilities and statistics. That's really what they all are. So when I was bored during the pandemic, I decided to build my own blackjack game using the robot. Now, don't worry, we're not going to teach your students how to become degenerate gamblers in the class. This isn't actually something we do in the class. It's just something I want to play with you guys real quick to give you an idea of how powerful these robots are, even using block coding. So let me quickly explain what Blackjack is, and you'll get a feel for how we play this. So Blackjack is also called 21. The goal of the game is we want to get as close to 21 as we can without going over. If we go over, we lose. If we stop before 21, we need to make sure we beat the dealer. Okay, so just beat the dealer without going over 21. So can I get a volunteer who's gonna play this game for us on our behalf? You can raise your hand or just unmute yourself and yell. Don't all jump at the same time. All right, Jeff, you want to play? All right, cool. You're going to make me the teacher in this trio association. I'm going to have to call on someone. All right, Jeff. So let's go ahead and unmute yourself, and we're going to go ahead and play the game real quick. Again, our goal is to get to as close to 21 as we can without going over. So let's play this game and let's see if Lady Luck is on our side today.
Let's play Blackjack. Your turn first. 9. 2. You have 11. Dealer's turn now.
Pretty decent.
9. Dealer shows 9.
All right.
Would you like to hit or stay?
All right, everyone. So we have an 11 against a 9. Okay, so we don't know what the dealer's second card is. We just know that they have a 9. So we have two options. We got to hit and take another card, or we can stay. So before you answer, Jeff, let's poll the audience. What do you guys think? Maybe put in the chat box or something, or just yell it out. Do you think we should hit or stay on 11? All right, Montana says hit. Liliana says hit.
Hit.
Maria says hit. Philip says hit. All right, Jeff, you wanna go with the audience, or you wanna go rogue?
As a rogue and a contrarian, no, I want to go hit.
All right, perfect. So how do we hit though, Jeff? These things, this isn't Siri. Hey, Siri, hit. It can't hear me, okay? So how have I programmed the robot to allow it to hit? Well, if you look over here, I've used what's called the on collision sensor. This black block right here is also called an event block. So when an event occurs, it triggers the code to start. So here, if I collide, remember how I hit it earlier and said, ouch, why'd you hit me? That was using the collision sensor. Now, to be contrarian, as you mentioned, Jeff, if we were gonna stay, I've used what's called the on free fall sensor. So if I were to drop the robot and it triggers the free fall sensor, then it would stay and let the dealer go. But let's go ahead and use the collision sensor and we're gonna hit. So let's hope for a 9, a 10 would be perfect. We just don't want like a 5 would be really bad. Okay, so let's hope for a high card, an 8, 9, or a 10. Let's go.
Hit.
Big money.
5. You have 16.
Right.
Would you like to hit
All
or
right,
stay?
of course. Welcome to Vegas. Painful. All right, so now we need the audience again. What do we do on 16? Do we hit or do we stay? And then we'll let Jeff decide for everyone. What do we think? Philip says hit. He says go for it. He's an animal. He's a gambler, I can tell. Alice, what do you think? Hit or stay? She wants to stay. Pam says hit. Any other takers? All right, we got Liliana with stay, Gabriella with hit, stay, hit. Oh, it's all across the board. So Jeff, this is why you get paid the big bucks. What do you want to do? You want to hit or you want to stay?
I gotta hit it.
We gotta hit it. All right,
Thank
so
you.
now let's go with statistics. The average card in a deck is a 7. We need a 5 or less. So we have about, I'd say about a 34% chance of not losing, okay? So let's go, hit. Big money, no whammy.
Good.
2. You have 18.
All right, we got 18. What do you want to do?
Hit or stay?
Do we still have the gamblers? Philip, degenerate. Do
Yeah.
you want to keep going or you want to stay?
Stay.
All right, Jeff, everyone says, all right, Pam says stay. Anyone want to hit? Anyone feel the need? All right, we got a bunch of stayers. Jeff, you're the contrarian. What do you think?
I'll stay.
All right, let's go ahead and stay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop the robot and trigger the free fall sensor. And then we're going to see what the dealer has. Hopefully the dealer doesn't have an ace or pulls anything higher than an 18.
Hit.
Oh, I triggered the hit sensor by mistake. All right, my fault. All right, we'll play
26.
We'll play one more real quick. That's my fault. I hit it with my finger and then I triggered the collision sensor rather than the free fall sensor. So I guess we'll just assume we won that one. But let's play this one real quick.
Let's play Blackjack. Your turn first. 9. 4. You have 13.
Not
Dealer's
good
turn
cards for
now.
the squad.
Jack. Dealer shows 10. Would you like to hit or stay?
All right, Jeff, we'll have you go quick. What do you want to do?
I'll hit.
All right, let's go.
Hit. 9.
Ah,
Bust.
Oh,
all
You
right.
have 22.
All right. Anyways, it was a good try. Good job. Thank you, Jeff, for helping lead the charge. Thank you, everyone, for participating. As you can see, even though we didn't win, it's still a lot of fun to play these games, right? And even though it's this tiny little robot, right? You think it looks like a little cat toy. I know Jeff is a big fan of cats. It looks like a little cat toy with a screen on it almost. This thing's really powerful. And again, I know you mentioned Lego Mindstorms before. Those things are very, they're great. They're very rudimentary. You can't go as advanced as we can with this. And 2, they're a lot more likely to break or lose pieces. These, you're going to get a lot of usage, which is really, really great. And you're going to keep getting more usage out of them. So that's the second 8 hours of class, is what we call the advanced block coding, or what I call the video game or simulator section. Now, the last 8 hours of class, Philip, this is for you. This is where we graduate to the next level. Remember, I showed you this code earlier and I said it was like hieroglyphics. Well, once I've learned how to speak Italian, learning how to read and write it isn't super difficult, right? So what we're going to do in the last 8 hours, they're going to start coding the robot with this kind of code rather than block coding. So they're going to graduate. And then at the end, they get a nice certificate of completion, depending on the length of the course that they did. It's a really good introductory course to coding and a really immersive, fun experience for them that the students really, really enjoy. So that's basically what we cover in the 24 hours of class. I have one last thing to show you, but any questions on kind of like what we cover, what kind of code, or what the structure of the class looks like before I kind of wrap up? All right, cool. So the last thing I want to explain to you, so I mentioned we work with about 500 programs, and I told you everyone always asks me why. And I have two reasons I think that Nucleus is so good. Well, three. One is our customer service, as Jeff was kind of mentioning, is I think we're kind of top notch in that respect. Anyone who uses us gets assigned their own student success coordinator who's going to be with you every step of the way to make sure everything's implemented correctly and going smoothly. The second reason is the activity-based learning, which kind of makes it lab focused. And number three is the way in which we deliver our curriculum. So do you guys remember that show, Bill Nye the Science Guy? That sound familiar? All right, awesome. Everyone loves Bill Nye. I can't really see most of your faces, but I assume some of you chuckled or smiled or smirked when I said Bill Nye. Everyone tends to have the same reaction, right? Montana apparently as well. Why was Bill Nye so special? I think Bill Nye was great because he made education feel like entertainment, right? When you sat down to watch Bill Nye, you didn't feel like you were going to class, even though you were about to learn. You just felt like you were watching a TV show. And so Nucleus is based out in LA near Hollywood. We figure, why can't we do the same thing? So what we did was we actually built our own Bill Nye style trio TV show. We have a different TV show for robotics than we do for entrepreneurship, than we do for financial literacy, different characters, different storylines, different skits, different jokes. You'll see me in here. I actually play this character called Dr. Cheese. I'm like this mad scientist who loves cheese. Students love Dr. Cheese, and I won't toot my own horn, but actually at NAEOP, I got like 5 people. I don't know if you guys know Jenna McCoy over at University of Washington State University. And then a couple other people came up and took selfies with me. They thought it was hilarious. I sent it to their students. Anyways, the students really enjoy it. So basically everything, the actual teaching is done via these really fun and engaging lecture videos. And because these lectures are pre-built, we don't need a quote unquote teacher to run or facilitate our class. The way I think about it is kind of like the SAT. I don't need to be a master at the test in order to proctor the test. You don't need to be a master at robotics or entrepreneurship or financial literacy to proctor our classes. In fact, it's so easy. It takes us only about 45 minutes to train someone locally to run the class. And they'll be able to run any of our classes, not just robotics or not just entrepreneurship. They can run any of them. So typically our programs will, whoever they're going to use as their proctor is typically like an advisor, a tutor, a counselor, local grad school student, college student, someone who's just more of a camp counselor, and we'll train them and get them up and running and make sure everything runs beautifully. So what's also nice, Philip, you asked this question at the beginning of like, what's the structure? Like how many hours a day? The nice thing is because you guys have control, that's up to you. Some programs will do 4 hours in one day. Some will do 4 hours over 4 days. Some will break it up over months. Some will break it up over one day. That's it. So you guys get complete control. And what's really nice is after 2 years of the pandemic, I know there's some advisors in this room right now, you're dying to get in the classroom with the students, to actually be with them, help build that relationship and that bond. No better way to do that than by learning robotics together. So I'm going to show you guys a sample lecture video to give you a feel of what these look like. And then we'll kind of, and then we'll wrap up. And like I said, if you guys have questions or anything, or if you want to go through some of our other class options as well, I'm happy to show that to you. I guess we can also talk about like purchasing, because I'm sure some of you are curious how that works with like, pre-buying and all that kind of stuff. All right, so this is what like a module or a lesson looks like. It's all pre-built and ready to go. So literally the proctor is just going to come in here and play the video and then lead the activity. Yeah. But a couple of things I want to mention about the video before I play it. The first is timing. You notice our videos are short, 4 or 5 minutes long. I don't care how good your video is. I don't want to watch a 20-minute video, right? I don't want to watch an entire episode. We want to do quick, condensed, easy, bite-sized pieces of information. Number two is the way you learn. You know, some people are sometimes skeptical of video at first, but if you think about it, how are your students learning these days? TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, you know, YouTube, Facebook. This is where they're spending their time. They're used to learning online, and this is the mode that they tend to learn on through like YouTube videos. And the last thing is fun. Most importantly, as TRIO, our job is to inspire students to want to continue with their education. We don't necessarily get them to continue only because of their career trajectory. We want to do it because learning is fun. And frankly, everyone should think the same way, right? We might not be interested in the same thing, but we should all be interested in learning and expanding our palette and our thought process. And so that's one of the really cool things about our class is we just make it really fun and immersive. So we're going to watch like a quick, like 2-minute sample of this video to give you a flavor of what these look like.
Now that we've learned about pseudocode, we're ready to begin on some more complex block coding projects. In this lesson, we're going to enhance our skills by learning about the delay block. Chad, can you please tell us a little bit about delays?
Come on, man, go! Oh, I hate delays. I'm on my way to the surf competition in Malibu, and there's so much traffic, I'm gonna miss it.
No, Chad, we're talking about the delay block, you know, for robots.
The whole block is delayed by robots? Oh, no wonder.
Oh, God. As the name suggests, the delay block will instruct your robot to delay and stop functioning for whatever amount of time you specify. You'll be able to set the number of seconds that the delay block should last for by adjusting the time parameter on the block. So why might this delay block be useful? Let's think way back to our previous challenge of getting our robot to draw a square using the roll block. During that challenge, did you notice that the shape your robot drew wasn't exactly a perfect square? This can be a common occurrence in coding. A lot of times, you can end up with something you didn't expect.
Hi, this is Dr. Cheese, this strikingly handsome man. I'm going to skip over this for the sake of time right now. Just know if you go with robotics, you're going to get plenty of Dr. Cheese, don't you worry. So let's go ahead and continue for another minute or so.
To find out why. Let's analyze some sensor data to debug our program and find out why we didn't get the perfect square we were looking for. The most basic program to draw a square would look something like this. But when you run the program, you can see in the sensor data that the actual shape has much more rounded corners. It's more like an imperfect circle than a square. In the program you created to draw a square, each roll block required the robot to change the heading by 90 degrees. But changing the heading by 90 degrees takes time. You can't expect a robot to change its direction instantaneously because it has to physically rotate and change its aim. As you can see from the sensor data, the robot was already rolling along at the speed and duration set in the next block before the robot had enough time to change its angle, which caused it to cut some corners. In real life, cutting corners can have some pretty serious consequences. Enter the delay block. By making our robot delay at the corner, we give it the opportunity to change direction before rolling along its next side. Now let's go back and fix our program by adding delay blocks, which will provide the robot just enough time to change its heading in between each roll block and give you that perfect square. Let's run our updated program once again and take a look at our sensor data. People aren't perfect, but squares can be.
So that's kind of the gist, right? You see how fun it is, right? And one of the things that I love about the videos is, one, they're different characters. I think sometimes we get bored listening to the same person lecture to us all summer or all class for an hour straight. Number two is how condensed and easy it is to learn, right? If I tried to explain that concept, that would have taken me 30 minutes without it being rehearsed and scripted and everything. And then not only that, but the visuals. Learning coding is a very visual science, and without the visual stimulations and the ability to see the code moving around, makes it that much harder to learn. Now, the absolute last thing I want to show you guys, and then we're done, is I want, I think it's, obviously, I'm sure whatever vendor, whether there's someone good like us or anyone else, it doesn't really matter. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. Oh, our stuff's great. Students love it. So I'm sure whatever I say, you probably take somewhat with a grain of salt. So I think it's important for you guys to kind of like hear from, some other people, what how much they enjoy the curriculum and everything. So this was actually a test a video. I went to University of Illinois, their Upward Bound program. And I want to show you this in particular. Now, obviously, this isn't just an Upward Bound program in general, but I just want to give you a flavor for what they have to say first and foremost. And then we're done, and we'll have plenty of time for questions.
I would rate the class one of the top of all the courses that we've offered.
This is definitely one of the best programs, and I think it's because of the engagement, because of the creativity, because of the innovation, because of the fact that they're thinking outside of the box. So I definitely top notch.
My name is David Dorsey, and I'm class of 2023.
My name is Renee John, I'm a sophomore. My name is Janu, I'm an 8th grader.
I am new to this, and this is my first class for robotics.
This is my first experience in robotics and coding, and I feel like I learned a lot.
I feel like this class was different than any of my ordinary classes in high school. It's more, the videos are explaining more than the videos I watch in my classes.
I think the video is more interesting. The different characters and the fun in there, it really made us want to pay attention, and it didn't make us like bored or anything. And then after that, being able to have hands-on helped us remember it too. I think this is a cool way to learn about robotics and coding, and I would like to keep learning about it through this. If I had the option of taking this course again in summer, yeah, it will be something I want to do.
If I had the opportunity, I would do it again in the summer because it had opened my eyes some more about robotics and coding.
If I had a friend that asked me if they should take this course, I would recommend it because it was really fun and it can give them a new exposure to stuff that not everybody is exposed to.
So anyways, that's the gist, right? You can see how enthusiastic the students are and how much they enjoy it. And the very last thing I want to show you, just because I'm beyond proud, and Jeff knows this about me, like I'm here obviously. Oops. I'm beyond proud, and I love the impact we're having in Trio, and I love obviously being a vendor and a partner with our Trio programs. I just got this email literally like 12 hours ago, and I think it's important to share just because one, it warms my heart, and two, I think it's most important. This is a program in Minnesota, and this is Zach, who's the proctor of the program. He's an advisor, and he goes, things have been going very smoothly. I've been able to complete all the modules. They're enjoying it and remaining engaged despite the long class hours. I wish I could claim credit for that, but I can't write this message without commending the ease of both the Sphero EDU app and the Nucleus course modules themselves. The class practically teaches itself. And this is what what I loved about it. What I'm really excited about is the students, not only do they remain engaged and excited currently through hour 9, but this program has also fostered a desire in them to learn more. Many of them have come up to me with further questions regarding computer science or related topics. All of them seem at least a little intrigued by the idea of going into the field. This itself has made the entire experience worth it, and I couldn't have done it without your guys' software. As it sounds, blah, 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 right? So I love those emails. I get those at least probably once every couple of days, but I love every single one of them. And it just shows how impactful our classes are and what we're doing, and just shows how effective this robotics curriculum is, because it's a tough thing to teach, and it's a tough thing to make exciting and fun. And I think we've done it after years and years of tweaking and perfecting. We have a pretty good thing. So that's pretty much the robotics class in a nutshell. What do you guys think overall? You think this is something your students would enjoy?
Definitely. You know, now that we have a new upper bound grant, that just seems perfect when we'll have more time to work with them. Michael, I was curious, you know, when I was in DC with COE and the board 2 weeks ago, you know, Nucleus came up and how great it was that you all hosted that that kind of Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I was wondering what gave you all the idea to do that with students? And
yeah, so that was super special. That was actually my idea and my initiative that I pushed through. Our director of Trio Partnerships, James Prince, who you guys might know, he was University of South Carolina Trio president for a number of years, and he was also an Upward Bound and Talent Search director for about 18 years. He actually used our software at his program and loved us so much, he actually joined Nucleus. He like called me and was like, hey, are you guys hiring? Because I love what you guys are doing and I'm looking to impact more students than just in my school. So he helped run this event, but I did my MBA about about 10 years ago. And so pitch competitions were a very common, you know, staple at an MBA program. I also did undergrad business as well. And I loved those, and they were really inspiring and they were great experiences. It was awesome to like interact with people who've been successful business owners as the judges. And I was also looking, so two things. One, I think Trio, the way we transform our communities, right? The way I think about all of us as Trio personnel are like cancer doctors, right? If we do our job right, we don't have patients in 10 years, right? Same thing with us as Trio personnel. If we do our job right, there is no Trio community to serve in the next generation. And yes, we can do that by pushing them to school and by getting good jobs. But the way that we really transform our communities from the inside out is through entrepreneurship, right? There are tons of, you know, cities that have literally budded from entrepreneurship. Vegas, obviously with the casino industry, Detroit with, you know, the car industry, a lot of cities now. Vegas is now turned into a big tech hub, right? San Francisco obviously has been greatly transformed because of technology. And so one person and a company that employ 100 people can literally change an entire community, an entire number of generations. So I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to do it. And also I wanted Nucleus to give back, right? I think too often vendors and companies will take and take and take and not necessarily give. And it was really important to me to put our money where their mouth is and produce an event that was actually going to help put kids through college and help them start a business. So we gave away about $10,000 in scholarships. Next year, I'm hoping that at least doubles. I think we're looking to do something like $25,000 in scholarship. And what was really remarkable is we had 5 judges who are Trio alumni who had been entrepreneurs. And they all came to me afterwards like, Michael, these students are like way, way, way more advanced than I would have ever imagined. I've been doing pitch competition for years. They were spectacular. I want to bring $10,000 of my own money next year, and I want to actually invest in some of these companies. So next year, the goal is to give away about $25,000 in scholarships, and then have somewhere between $25,000 to $50,000 in investment and seed money to actually make it a real Shark Tank event. So I'm really proud of that, and hopefully that becomes a staple within Trio. But you know, I think that's a way that we really transform is through teaching students. Like that's why we don't do Algebra 1 and geography and staples. The schools already got that, but they're not learning about stocks. They're not talking about retirement planning. They're not doing coding. They're not doing entrepreneurship. And that's really what the core of Nucleus is all about, bringing those to the forefront. Liliana, you used, apparently Liliana used Sphero last year in a virtual summer. And Liliana, you were with the Yapa Valley College, right? That wasn't with Nucleus.
Yeah,
though,
we're
right?
with Upward Bound. Yeah,
Okay.
so we used it last year, and our STEM instructor, he was really excited. He was able to program it to do lots of cool tricks and everything, and was able to teach the coding to the students. And a lot of them were like, yeah, we enjoyed doing all the coding and programming it to do all tricks. Like one student even said, she's like, I like using it that I was able to make, you know, tricks for my sister to see. And then at the end of program, we actually did ID Tech, and they did some more coding there. And so that actually helped them transition from being able to code the robot to then do some of the coding programs that they did with ID Tech. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. And so we're going to be using it again in person this year. and hopefully tying it in with some other curriculum that our STEM instructor has as well.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Obviously, if you have a local person who's an expert in Sphero, that's great. Most people don't have the luxury of that. And also, obviously, what we do is everything is software enabled, so you get tons of reporting. You also, obviously, our activities, we have multiple people building this class for years, so the activities we have are quite incredible. And sounds like you went to 2 different places, ID Tech and your person. We have it all in one where they're going to graduate to the actual JavaScript within our program, which is really cool. And coincidentally, we're actually the #1 provider of Spheros in the country. So we're the #1. We buy more robots than anyone else for Sphero. I think we bought maybe 20,000 robots last year or something. So pretty spectacular number. Awesome. Well, thank you, Liliana. So one of the things I want to quickly mention is purchasing, right? If any of you guys are interested in utilizing Nucleus, whether it's for, and by the way, our format is the same for all of our classes: robotics, entrepreneurship, financial literacy. We're going to train someone, video-based lecture, activity-based learning. So like stock markets, we have like a stock simulator portfolio game. Entrepreneurship, they're going to build a website and design a logo and do all sorts of things. They do that Shark Tank thing at the end. So just different activities, of course, and different curriculum. But the way it works with Nucleus is you don't buy a class. What you do is you buy credits to Nucleus that you can then spend on whatever class you want. So if you've ever been to an arcade, you kind of load up a card and then you go around and swipe it on the different games. Same kind of concept. You kind of buy almost like a gift card with Nucleus. Now there's a couple benefits with that. #1 is you get a year to use it. So some of you might be like, hey, I've already got my summer planned, but I've got a little spend down to do before my end of my budget year, my grant. Let me go ahead and buy some credits that I'm going to figure out how I'm going to use them next year, or I'm going to anticipate me using them next year. The second benefit of credits is what you use it on. You might buy robotics credits. They're not robotics credits. They're just credits. You can spend them however you want. So if you change your mind and decide to do entrepreneurship, you can. What's also nice is leftover. So let's say, a lot of people, especially in Trio, tend to overestimate their numbers and they say, hey, I need 30 students and only 20 show up. Well, those 10 extra students, you can carry those over for a year and you could use them however you please. So that's the reason I mentioned that, is if you're thinking, hey, this would be great for fall, but I have some extra money I need to spend this year, well, you could basically pre-buy it. And if you don't get to it this summer, you get a year to use it. So is that all clear? Okay, cool. So I know we got about 5 minutes left. Thanks so much for allowing me to present and talk to you guys. Hopefully we'll find an opportunity to partner. Are there any questions at this time?
Michael, can we can, if anyone needs your information, where can they go? What's the best?
Yeah, so I'm going to put it in the chat box. Our website is just nucleuscourses.com. My email is michael@nucleuscourses.com. And then I'm going to give you my cell phone number in case you guys want to call me. You can even text me on this number. That's my contact information. So feel free to call me, email me, text me. As Jeff mentioned, our customer service, you text me on a Sunday, I'll text you back on a Sunday 5 minutes later. You email me at 2 a.m. As soon as I wake up, I'll email you as soon as that, but I might not email you at 2:01 a.m. But we're basically available. We're a small business. There's only about 7 employees at Nucleus. So, we very much pride ourselves on delivering the best service and making sure you guys are well taken care of. And if you go to the Facebook directors group for Trio, I'm sure you'll see our name there plenty of times. And even though everyone loves our product, I love that everyone raves about our service, because not everything always goes perfect all the time with everyone, right? And you need to be confident that the person you're working with is going to mitigate those issues and make sure everything runs smoothly when you do hit a speed bump, which isn't common with us, but it happens.
Awesome. Michael, my last question, are you all going to be, will you have a booth and present at the San Diego COE
Of course.
Awesome.
We'll be at NAEOP, and we will be at COE. I think we're one of the key sponsors there. And if any of you guys were at COE last year, Nucleus throws ragers. So we have an awesome party. So we're going to be doing some big party at COE. So if you contact me and, we give preference to our programs that work with us already, depending on the size of the event. but I think we're looking to do like a big like karaoke beach party thing. So we're working on that right now, and we'll let you know. But we always do open bar, which is dangerous with educators. You guys have a lot of steam to let loose. But typically we do open bar and a lot of fun and really give back again. Or, you know, we know how hard you guys work, so you deserve to kind of celebrate and let loose. And Philip,
Awesome.
I think you had a question.
Yeah, I just wanted, it's kind of late. We've had our 15 robots for over 6 months now, and we haven't been brave enough to do enough. And what a great summer program this is. I've got to pull this together in about 2 weeks or I lose my students, you know?
Yeah.
So where can I go on the web where I might find about creating a summer program?
Yeah, so it depends if you guys already have credits in the bank with us or not. I know the Talent Search program has credits in the bank. Your Upward Bound, I think, has some too. I'm not sure what you guys have left over because I think you guys did stocks and cryptocurrency with us, I believe, during the spring. So I don't know what you have left over. If you have left over, we could literally start a class tomorrow if you wanted. That won't be an issue. Like I said, it takes like 45 minutes to train you. If you need to purchase more credits, you could do it with credit card. So what I would do is I would encourage your director. I think was it Chelsea? Does she run the Upward Bound?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. So have Chelsea maybe reach out to me, and then we can get a status of where you are with credits. Or if you want to stay on, I can look really quickly and see how many credits you have left over and whether you have enough to run a summer program.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
I'll contact Chelsea first.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure. And I can look really quickly while we're on here also. Yeah, it looks like you do have some credits. You should have enough to run. I don't know. It depends what Talent Search is going to use up. But are you looking for the 8-hour or how many hours?
Yeah, 8-hour over a duration of maybe a month.
I think you have enough credits for around, I think, 25 or 30 students for your summer program.
Okay, cool.
That's assuming Talent Search isn't going to take some of those.
Okay.
But talk to Chelsea and then we'll figure it out. But
yeah,
thank you. Yeah, we can take that offline for sure. Maria or Liliana, any other questions?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, of course. And sorry again, I was like hard. What's that? How do you spell your program name?
It's Yakima Valley, so Yakima.
Got it. Oh, Yakima. Okay, got it. Okay, that's Catalina, right?
Yeah, it's with Catalina, correct.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think someone might be talking to someone at your program. Maybe not. I don't know.
It's our STEM instructor. He's Josh Schlegel. He's the one who kind of
runs
the whole show with our STEM.
We talked to Josh, and my colleague Mark had talked to Catalina a little while ago about doing something together. So okay, cool. Well, I don't know if you have any interest in potentially using some of our curriculum for maybe this one or another class, but if so, you can reach out and let us know.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Liliana.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, Maria.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Michael, thanks for the live customer